On this episode of Imagine, Create, Inspire.
And Mott Roden, their singer, was a very, very avant-garde personality as well as fashion. So he comes off the stage and he's a large man, and he's in a pink tutu with a little skirt. He's in pink tutu, and as the old saying goes, he's a can of busted biscuits in a pink tutu. And Dr. John, and he walks by Dr. John, he walks by, and I'm leading him up the stage, and he looks at Mott's in that pink tutu and looks at me and he goes, "I bet that boy liked the Mardi Gras."
You are listening to Imagine, Create, Inspire, the podcast. Join host Bruce Andrews in conversations with creatives. Every artist has a story, and the struggle is real to stay inspired and in the flow. Join in the conversation by leaving us your comments, and thanks for listening.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast, Imagine, Create, and Inspire. 3 words in very deliberate sequential order. One word leads to the other. Imagination leads to creation. Creation leads to inspiration. And inspiration, when you properly apply it, produces hope. Hope's a commodity. Hope is fuel for the human soul. That's why I like to have conversations about imagination and what comes out of that. You know, the opposite of imagination, creation, and inspiration might well be desperation, polarization, inflammation. We got plenty of that. So that's why I like to talk to artists like Rick Carter.
Well, for a moment, I thought we were going to go into the soundtrack with Up With People. Inspiration.
Up With People. You remember that?
Oh, yeah, man.
They come to your high school? Was that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Come to your high school, your church. They were based in Mobile.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, and at one time they had 2 or 3 different touring outfits. Once again, as we were talking before we started, head full of minutia.
Yeah. Well, it's a good minutia. I mean, you know, so back in the day, minutia got you the girl, maybe.
It did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It got me that and the Spud Budweiser T-shirt.
Rick Carter, the hardest working man in show business that I know.
Well,
I mean, so, you know, working, I know when you post on social media, anybody that watches this probably knows you, and if you don't, they'll get to know you in the context of this conversation. But, you know, old school, booking a band, 200-300 dates a year.
Yep.
That's a grind, man. Can you kind of describe that in a nutshell for somebody that's 25 listening to this thing?
Well, times were good when you could book a band 200 or 300 shows a year, if that was your single stream of income, was playing in the band. And we had 2 or 3 different outfits in my career so far that we killed it. You know, we were in vans, we were in tour buses. I mean, the rock and roll dream, but it was all regional. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we would fly to California and Cayman Islands. We went to Cayman Islands with Nicky Hopkins, one of the world's most renowned session player, from playing at Louie Louie's in Birmingham. But, you know, I had to, I was responsible, Telluride, 5 people in the band, 5 people in the road crew, and all of their families.
You're booking it.
I'm booking it. I've got to. If I don't book it, then the roadies whose wife just had a baby, no diaper money.
Right.
So, you know, it was, and it still is to a degree like that. You know, things have splintered off from the concept of a band. You know, you get into your bigger national touring acts, and it's the same people show up every time because it's a band. You know, around locally, a lot of times it's, "Hey, I'm Dave, I'll be your drummer tonight," you know, that kind of thing. But, you know, I learned from Bunky Anderson, Southeastern Attraction, always have a heads up on football schedule, holidays, when school starts back, you know, the hot dates, build around it, do the work, get the band popular, and always take your own door guy.
Interestingly enough, at least I think it's interesting, with all this content producing and working social media, and you're into that. You know, you didn't let that pass you by. But I mean, your old school grind mentality is still working for you.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's all I know. You know, it's what I know, And as time has gone by, because I started doing this for money in 1966, 66, 67, and I still have a picture of us. The band was called the Invaders in Sumter, South Carolina. We got paid $7 a piece, but my allowance was 50 cents a week. And I just made $7 for playing the opening of a TV repair store. So game on.
Game on.
You know, then I had to cut the grass, take out the trash, babysit my brother. All I had to do with this one was get the curly cord out, plug my guitar into the amp and play I'm a Believer by the Monkees, and
game on.
Shoot, $7, man. So I learned back then, you know, that on Air Force bases you had the Airmen's Club, the Officers Club, the NCO Club, the Teen Club. Everybody there's a birthday every day. That you do those at the rec center or whatever. So I was pretty savvy, even, 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
That's when I started booking our bands. And it was always the same guys. In those days, you wouldn't dare play in somebody else's band. You played in your band. That was your allegiance. That's what you did. And a guy told me a long time ago, a band is an unbreakable circle. Be that. If you're going to be a band, then that's what you do. Mm. And that's what, we've done for years and years and still do. I mean, it's pretty much, you hire Telluride is 4 of the 5 guys that started the band in 1977, which is kind of unusual.
Novel.
It's unusual, and the other guy unfortunately passed away. So Joe Breckenridge, our newest member, has only been with us 37 years.
Just 37.
Just 37.
Yeah, Joe's a freak of nature. I love that.
He's a great player, but part of the attraction to me is the game of booking. I enjoy that. Sometimes I enjoy that better than I do playing the show. Especially if it's routing dates. Sometimes you'll get. I've got one coming up in July where we're going to Rockford, Illinois, and we'll go to Rockford and Lake Geneva up through there. So I've got to back it off because those are the anchor dates. That's what the money is. Mm-hmm. Those 2 dates are the money. So you back it off, and now it's the hunt. You call up or you start looking around at some bands that play your kind of. It's rolling in the hay. So I look around at bands that play similar kind of rooms that would be open to that kind of music. And if I know somebody in the band, I'll call them up and go, who do I talk to at this place in Evansville, Indiana? Oh, man, you need to talk to, before long, then it's done, and then you got to go play it. It's kind of like if I could just sit around and book stuff all the time, then.
It's like the romance.
Yeah, but I've done that too. I've worked at Southeastern Attractions for years booking bands. And that's when I first realized that not all bands do what they're supposed to do.
That is the truth.
They don't show up. I'm sorry, the wedding band brought Tupperware containers and got all the food from the wedding reception.
That's right.
God rest your soul, Joe Poo Nanny.
Yeah.
I had to call him up. I said, Joe, what? You can't do that. Well, man, and he said they had all that food left, and we had some containers handy.
Yeah, just handy.
Bo Diddley did the same thing. We had him when I used to book the Stardome before it became a comedy club. It was a music club.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Cool layout for a club.
Yeah. Great. And when the comedy club burned, that next morning I called Bruce Ayers and said, man, you know what you need to do? He did. He jumped.
Yeah.
As well as he should. But I had booked Bo Diddley in there one night. And
about what time frame? Is
Bo Diddley was 90, let me think. I have to go by girlfriends.
Yeah.
94.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was good to hear. I could tell by the look on your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good year.
Yeah.
And I had to pick him up at the airport. Now think about this.
Bo Diddley. So Bo Diddley, he's older.
He's pretty old at this point.
Right.
All right, he travels by himself. He's like the Chuck Berry school of, you pick me up a band, I got a guitar and a briefcase and a pistol, So I go out to the Birmingham airport to pick up Bo Diddley, who I have booked, which is where the origin of this particular conversation started. And this is right when he's doing Bo Jackson and Bo Diddley commercials on TV. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. I know Bo. That's the
Oh yeah,
that's the byline of the campaign. So here comes this guy, and it's Bo Diddley. I mean, nobody would not know that that's Bo Diddley. He's all over TV. He's got a hat on that says Bo.
Yeah, in case you don't know.
And I don't, the whole way there I thought, would I get a sign that says Bo, or would I get a sign that says Mr. Diddley? So I thought, no, just go on site. I'm pretty sure you're going to know. So I said, Bo, I know Bo. Hey, Bo, I'm Rick Carter. I'm your driver. He goes, how'd you recognize me? I wanted to just be plain and straight up and go, because I have eyes.
Yeah.
No, I said, you just stand out. The character that you are.
You're an
and
icon,
I could not say Mr. Diddley.
Yeah.
So
that's rough.
Yeah.
Wow.
And now as time has gone by, I forgot his real name. He told me, like Dr. John, he said, don't call me doctor. He said, call me Mac. That's my name. I said, okay. But I got stories for all those crazy guys. I booked all that.
Is that the context? I mean, I know it is, but would you say that's most of the? You didn't have any problem coming up with the context for a book?
No. And I have
the title.
Fables and Stories, Tales from and I have several volumes that I have not even scratched the surface of. But I booked one year all of the acts at Beam's Crawfish Bowl, and that was at, believe it or not, at the racetrack, Birmingham racetrack.
Of it all.
Well,
BIR.
All right, so we had to make a deal with them that the bands would stop when the horses ran. I said, okay, yeah, we're going to do that.
Oh, it was the horse track.
And that's back when they were running the ponies. They actually had horses. It wasn't just televised. They had horses, But that thing I booked was Dr. John, Delbert McClinton, Warren Haynes.
Man, I would like to have been at that show.
Sugar La La's.
What a great lineup.
That's when I was walking Mac to the stage in the Sugar La La's. Did you ever see the Sugar La La's?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Sugar La La's, for the people that never saw them, was just a really, really ahead of their time band out of Birmingham. Some of the people are deceased now, but Carol Griffin was in the band. She was the singer. Leif Bondarenko. It was very, very, way ahead of their time as far as music and concept. It was theater. So I had booked them because they were one of the big local bands at the time. And Aaron Beam's Crawfish, his favorite act at the time.
Wow.
So anyway, I had them. And Motts Roden, their singer, was a very, very avant-garde personality as well as fashion. So he comes off the stage and he's a large man. He's deceased now. Maybe about the size of that double door there. He's a big guy. And he's in a pink tutu with a little skirt. He's in pink tutu. And as the old saying goes, he's a can of busted biscuits in a pink tutu. And Dr. John, and he walks by Mac, Dr. John, and he walks by, and I'm leading him up to the stage, and he looks at Motts in that pink tutu and looks at me, and he goes, I bet that boy liked the Mardi Gras. And I just
that's
thought,
a line right there.
Thought that's, but back to the booking things, I booked festivals and major artists or bait shop. I booked Telluride in a place that showed up and on the sign it says live bait, live band.
I like it.
Yeah, I said, that you're talking about something that'll give you instant humility. We were below
the bait.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell you right, I played some gigs.
Whew.
And still play.
Still do.
I mean, as we sit here, you got an anniversary show coming up, right?
46 years.
Yeah.
46 years. You know, and it's just amazing that it's still, like we talked about a moment ago,
Yeah.
it's for the same guys
Yeah.
that we just started as little kids. I mean, I wasn't even, how old was I? I was 23 years old.
Yeah.
And I had already been playing making a living of it for 2 years before that in Ramada Inns.
Right.
You know, playing the Ramada Inn circuit, which is completely, you know, if the bands, the younger bands, had that opportunity nowadays, where you're in a place, of course, you know, that most of them would object to the fact that it's cover material.
Yeah.
But you cannot get that kind of wisdom, training, discipline, how to read a crowd, how not to take long breaks, you know, all the
5
things.
to 7 nights a week. You're set
Man,
up.
you're good. As soon as you walk out and you look at it, and it's, you know, a certain demographic or a group of people, then you got a song list of 200 songs.
Right.
You know every top 40 song for the last 10 years.
You know, that always brings up. I always feel like it's a double-edged sword as far as conversation goes. When people get into well, you know, if you're a real band, you wouldn't play all these covers, that kind of thing. I mean, the respect that I know you and I have for the fact that a lot of working bands. I mean, you know, like here at the venue, I'll see, and I don't mean any disrespect by this, but I'll see somebody that's got a 30-minute set coming up, and they're just warming up. They're doing vocal warm-ups, and they're all kind of pain and angst about going on. And I mean, I get being prepared. I'm not putting that down, but I'm saying workhorses like you guys and so many people we know play 4 or 5 hours in a less than ideal environments. You know, with all kind of peripheral crap going on.
Yeah.
And to your point, decades of doing that. I don't think anybody can argue that wouldn't make you a better musician.
Well, what a lot of the younger bands, back to the original thing, this is obviously you want people to come to see you play your songs, but that's it's magic if you ever get to that point and have those hits and become somebody that the other bands will cover your songs. Sure, everybody wants that. And to a degree, I guess we've had a few regional songs in different carnations that work, and people, so I can get away with half and half.
Yeah.
You know. But here's the best training, and it still goes on, and it's a dying art. But there's a place called D Ford's. Okay, on the way to Atlanta, you'll see it. It's an old barn, and it says D Ford's on it. On Saturday night, he has a house band, dying art. That band plays from 9 o'clock at night to 3 o'clock in the morning. That's 6 hours.
Right.
Every Saturday night.
Right.
And they play Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Right.
But on Saturday, it's 9 to 3. See, that's old school kind of stuff. That's Hogan's Hideaway for people that are listening to this of that particular era.
Norms.
That's norms. That's where you catch the on Saturday night, and that's why they do it on Saturday night, because he's a private club. Everybody else closes down, so that's the norms. That's the supper clubs. That's the philosophy of we're going to get all the people with money, the waiters and the waitresses and all the bartenders got a pocket full of that, made that money on Saturday night at their bar. We're going to get it all.
Someplace to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the band, you think of the song list, you don't have enough original music to play from 9 o'clock at night to 3 o'clock.
That's right.
I don't care how good you are.
No.
Bruce Springsteen probably could do it, but he'd have to do it solo, because I don't think he could rehearse his band long enough to do 6 hours.
Yeah.
And they do 45 on, 15 off.
Yeah.
You know, it's always on the clock, on an hour.
Yeah.
You know. But a lot of that stuff's gone. I miss those kind of things, because I think that there's something to be said about house bands. And it used to,
Heck yeah.
that, and you'll remember it, I mean, especially near an airport, your Holiday Inn, your Ramada Inn, all of those had house band.
Yes.
6 nights a week.
Well,
Monday
that was a
through
great
Saturday.
concept. I mean, I still maintain that it would be novel for a hotel to do that, and maybe some at the coast think that way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people are different. You got a different crowd rotating in and out.
Oh,
They got disposable
absolutely.
income
Absolutely.
to tip. I mean, it's just it's a dynamic that I'm sorry doesn't exist as much anymore, if any.
Yeah, me too.
The airport, was it the airport Ramada
Yeah.
down our way that was always a
Yeah.
place
And
to book?
because it's a transient crowd. It's in there. And see, when the ones that I played most was in Selma, well, there was an Air Force base there.
Yeah.
And it was a training base for pilots.
Right.
So it's a different crowd almost every night.
Yeah.
But there's also the locals. One guy rode his horse into the Ramada Inn. We're up there playing.
At the airport
and-
Ramada?
No, in Selma.
In Selma,
But it
Selma.
was.
Oh, yeah.
We always packed it
Yeah.
out. We were up there playing. All of a sudden, it's just like a fire. Everybody just in the room emptied, and we're going on Hollywood swinging, And we looked at each other. We go, "Let's we'll take a break." So we took a break. Went out there. Randy Suttle, God bless his soul, rest his soul. He was a rodeo boy. Had one of those belt buckles. Eat a bowl of chili out of.
Yeah.
One of those guys, and did that a lot. Never, I don't know why, but it just comes with the territory. But he had unloaded his horse out of his horse trailer, saddled that dude up, and rode it into the foyer of the Ramada Inn. The horse,
That's awesome.
and everybody in there was looking at it. you know.
That's great.
Oh
man.
yeah.
Well, I mean, the testimony to how great it was, you're still talking about.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
in Selma, it's they mark time as before Randy rode the horse in or after. I mean, it was pretty much a social event.
So y'all
of the
modified
century.
Y'all modified the saying blank you and the horse you rode in on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And those kind of stories is there's 50 people there, but there's 5,000 that say they were. That's how it always
I love
is.
that, man. And I know you still go back to Selma, and you got your one manifestation of what you're doing is the Selma Boys. And
I'm honored now that they have the Rick Carter Songwriter Festival.
yeah, that's
First
awesome,
week of
brother.
June, we do that. And
It's the 3 years in now, or what's
this
the deal?
will be the second year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I love that because that's the opportunity that you get to play your original music. And last year, and I'll use Jess as an example of someone who can come down and do the writer's thing and play nothing but original music, or she's on tour with the Black Jacket Symphony doing Stevie Nicks. It's work.
Yeah.
It's a job.
Jessica Muse is a good
How
example.
do you
She
like to?
works.
Who wouldn't want to go and sing her heroes' songs on a bus tour and make money and do that to sold out theaters?
Right
Why
on,
not?
man.
And then you can come home and go to Rick's Songwriter Festival and play your original music. It just shows depth and character, And I always say to people, I don't do but play my own songs. Well, a good song is a good song. Doesn't matter who wrote it.
Yeah.
It's how well you can do it.
Well, I mean, and the premium concern being, or thought being, and I know you do this naturally, is connecting with people.
Yeah.
That's what music's about.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if it's a little bit haughty to say the only way I'm going to connect with you is you come to me on my terms.
Yeah.
And
and then you have, there's always the exceptions to the rule, the Trey Lewises, the Riley Greens, and most of it's in country music now. I remember Riley Green, who's now huge and doing civic centers, 17,000 seaters, that
Right.
kind of stuff. But I remember when he was just a boy going to school in Jackson, you better believe he played Atlantic City just like everybody else did.
right.
But somehow, he rose to the top. And a lot of people get to do that, and there's not one of those people that are able to do all original music as much as they want to, that didn't work hard for it.
Yeah.
And they're no different than Rolling Stones. Look at the first Rolling Stones record. It's almost all cover songs.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Beatles.
Right.
You know, My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean was a 45 they released early in their career. I'm pretty sure they didn't write that.
I'm pretty sure.
And it's the Beatles.
Yeah.
So, it's just I get the frustrating part of it, because the generation now, they really are good songwriters, and they really have the get in the van and go work it ethic. And they're taking advantage of the opportunities they have with social media, which is way different than you and I.
That's better
Let
than
me tell you
nailing up
something.
posters on
They're-
telephone poles.
Yeah, that's right. What happened to the thumbtacks? Where's the tape? I just hit the whole world with one button. It's amazing that
I that gives me some solace and about all the negativity that we hear, and it's true about social media and all that stuff. But the idea that you can be a purveyor on there, in other words, somebody that naturally connects with people like you do.
Mm-hmm.
When COVID hit, you thought, well, I'm just going to turn the screen on and keep on connecting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like magic.
Well, and the odd thing is that we did one New Year's Day, and we hadn't done one in about 18 months, and it was like going back and seeing old friends again.
Yeah.
The core group of people tuned in, and it was a reunion. Oh, you got to keep doing this, that kind of thing. It's amazing. Facebook or Instagram Live or any kind of live social media stream that you can do, how for somebody like me who grew up in formidable years playing in bands in the Philippines, I don't see those people anymore. But guess where I do see them?
Yeah.
Hey, man, it's Gerald Goodwin. Remember, I used to pick you up on my motorcycle when we were 15 at Clark Air Force Base, tuning into your show. He's not going to come to
That's magic.
He's not going to come to Shelby County and see me in the Black Box Theater. He's not going to do it.
It's magic.
Because he lives in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
But so, yeah. And I think that if you use those sources of broadening your entertainment scope, why not do Facebook Live? Why not? You don't want to. I think you still have to hold on to whatever makes something special. Have a like Lisa and I, for us, and I'm proud of what we do. It's always a show. Mm-hmm. It's not like, hey man, thanks for y'all for, and you're backwards in the camera, and he knows more. Things like that. But then again, there are people that adhere to that. Mm-hmm. I had, and I won't mention names, but I had a record company that was interested in a tape that I have of Johnny Shines.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. But there's some of it not so good. He listened to it, and the things that I thought were, the fidelity was better, and, the things that I thought, maybe you could have called it slicker. But that's what I gravitated toward. But he liked the stuff you could barely hear and tell what was going on. He goes, man, that's right there. That's gold. I'm like,
I was thinking it sounds like some kind of Library of Congress.
Yeah.
Lomax.
That's what it is. And so even though I want to bring a show to it, to some people, the dirty, dusty clanking of the microphone and the backwards guitar on the porch, and your dog just peed on your guitar stand.
Yeah.
There's a quality to that.
Yeah.
So whatever gets you from taking the amplifier out of your mom's trunk and gets you to where now you've earned enough to buy you a cheeseburger from playing that guitar through that amp, success.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes. It just depends on how good you want to eat, how good your amp you want to put, and maybe it won't be your mom's car. Maybe it'd be your tour bus. But all of it's just from booking shows.
Progression.
Going back to that. It's just,
booking shows, connecting with people, that kind of thing.
He was a homeboy from Chicago, Illinois. He rode the mail train. Had spaghetti and meatballs as his main brain. Thought the map of America was a membrane. Fish and a whistle and a fish. That's the way that the world goes round today.
He could make a rainbow feel like moonshine. He could make me feel like you're all mine. He could make a 9-volt feel like sunshine. Now he's gone. Now he's gone. Now he's gone. He spread love in every way love could be spread. Sam Stone came home like he was never dead. Lake Marie's just a creek on the riverbed. I can still hear what them angels said. He could make a rainbow feel like moonshine. He could make me feel like you're all mine. He could make a 9-volt feel like sunshine. Now he's gone. Now he's gone. Now he's gone. I live in an apartment in the city. When the cold wind blows, it's kind of pretty. Like the sands of Hawaii, it's just a bit gritty. 2 shades short of sweet revenge. And he's a-coming home. He could make a 9-volt feel like sunshine. He could make me feel like you're all mine. He could make a rainbow feel like sunshine. Now he's gone. 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 Welcome home.
So you know as you I mean, you managed to maintain all levels of what you do on up into your years,
Yeah.
wherever that is. And so, but it seems to me that as times progressed, the singer-songwriter side of you has come out a bit more. Is that fair to say? Or
It is, because I think the storytelling thing, you get to a certain age where you telling a story is immediately accepted, because
you've always had sage wisdom, but now you appear to have it.
Exactly. you wear those stories,
Yeah.
On your gray hair or whatever it may
Yeah.
be, and that's a uniform that I fit into good. I like that. I like to talk to people. Well, you can tell I hadn't shut up. I enjoy it, but what I really enjoy most of anything right now is the fact that I can reflect. And I can make it entertaining to people. But I don't care as much about if you're entertained by it. I want you to live with me those times.
Jump in that nostalgia.
Yeah. And it's not just nostalgia. It's what makes us who we are. And you can apply that to ask when you see a guy out banging a hammer and nails, stop and say, hey, what's the funnest thing you've ever built? Oh, man, let me tell you about Everybody has it.
Everybody got a story.
So all you have to do is provide them an audience, and they'll let you know, oh, man, the best ice cream sandwich I ever made, or whatever. I made a salad one time that, chefs, everybody has that.
That's right.
And to me, that's the interesting, that's the challenge, is to broaden the audience and bring to them what you were so excited about living.
Yeah.
Man, I was so glad we got to do that. Let me share it with you.
Yeah.
And here's a song, or here's a book, here's a story, here's a salad. I met this chef over in India, and he taught me how to make dumplings. Whatever,
Yeah.
And there's going to be somebody that goes, so I watched the chef. He's talking about the guy that taught him how to make dumplings in India, and I tried it. And I like, You know,
yeah, man.
And that's we all know that's how news went around the world, is by people riding in horses or walking down a trail going. Now the 2 towns over, they've got yellow fever. So just letting you know, that was the news.
Yeah,
You know, and
that's
it might
right.
have been accompanied on a guitar, or it may be a guy in a medicine wagon selling snake oil, but he's going to tell you what's going on.
Might have been a troubadour.
Might have been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
So, and that's just what we do now. You do, he does, I do. We're all doing basically the same thing. We're just bringing news from the past and the present, just spreading it around, hoping something sticks.
Well, storytelling is arguably the oldest art. You know, I mean, oldest art form,
Yeah.
or one of them for
Yeah.
sure. And that's why people instantly, intrinsically connect with it. I mean, you know, every time if you're a good storyteller like you are, people they just connect.
Yeah.
I mean, the best preachers, the best are storytellers.
hmm And that when you get to that sweet spot when you're telling a story and the audience is into it, then you can really become creative with it.
Yeah,
You know, and that's always the challenge of any kind of artistic thing, whether it be painting a wall. If somebody goes, man, that wall looks good. Well, guess what? The next 2 strokes are going to even be better.
yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
Because everybody, thanks, man. Look at this. You know, whatever it is, it's just you need a little bit of pat on the back, and then if you care enough about it, then it will just get progressively better. Whether it's a story or a song or a salad, doesn't matter. You know.
Yeah, I hope everybody heard that. If you care enough about it, then it will get progressively better.
Yeah.
I definitely live by that.
Yeah.
I know you do too. And you know, the antithesis of that being, if you don't care about it, then it'll decay.
Absolutely.
It will atrophy or decay.
Yeah. Well, and you know, people ask me, well, Telluride just got all the good jobs, or just do this, or just do that. That's why y'all still do it. No, it's because we worked our butts off.
Yeah.
We still do, and you didn't.
Yeah.
You can carry that cynicism or and I hate to say jealous, but it is, you know, the envy of it. You can carry that with you, but if you would have done the work, you
No.
would too.
I mean, Philip and I were just talking about 2023 going to be a good year, and why do I believe that? For a number of reasons, but not the least of which is that we're surrounded by such pessimism, and I'm not a party to it, that I think it gives you an edge. You know, just to simply be, you know, if I'm around good storytellers, then the story I tell myself or about my organization or about the people I saw is tweaked. It's positive. It's and
it is, and witness as we sit here.
yeah.
You know, and that's a result of hard work, very hard work. And I've always told you how much I appreciate and how much I respect, because this is overwhelming to me how one person could plant a seed and then create something like this. But it's all work. But you move past that. See, okay, sure, I got a building, whatever, but let's do.
Well, so it's like you booking gigs. It's like you booking gigs. Now you're the dog that caught the car.
Yeah.
And so now you had all these challenges pushing the ball up the hill.
Mm-hmm.
Now the ball's rolling down the hill. Praise God. Now we're all having fun, but now the problems are different and they're coming at you faster.
Exactly.
And and it ain't bad. It keeps
No, but you know, that's what I always say is musicians, especially musicians, wake up every morning unemployed. Because you really do.
Yeah.
Because now I'm not saying there are symphonic players or orchestral, you know, musicians. Their job is secure because it's a job more so than somebody who's going, man, if I don't book May, then guess what? I hope Mickey D's is hiring. So you wake up every day going, we got it. And that to me is so exciting because that's part of the creative spirit. And then you go, well, we could do this, but we got to be good, you know. And then it feeds itself.
It is a unique version of being an entrepreneur. I
Yeah.
mean, it's its own brand. You know, speaking of troubadours, you know, you got a new series coming up. We're going to kick it off here at Song Theater in March. It's called
Yeah.
Alabama Troubadours. Is that going to be the
Alabama
official brand name?
Troubadours, yeah.
What's that going to be like, man?
Well,
I'll let you.
The
describe.
Alabama Troubadours is made up of myself, Stan Foster, who plays with me, and Rolling in the Hay. He'll be on bass, vocals, harmonica, other things. William Moose Harrell from the band Telluride, guitars, pedal steels, lap steels, and Donna Hall from the band Wet Willie, Jimmy's sister, who proudly, I always say this, is a member of Alabama and Georgia Music Hall of Fame.
And she can still sing.
She's great. And this particular, what we're doing out of the gate, Alabama Troubadours present the music of one of our all-time heroes, John Prine.
The ultimate storyteller.
So that's what we'll do. And since it is you, and this is where I've always wanted to launch that project here. And you and I had a date and had talked about it back before the pandemic and before John Prine had passed away.
That's right.
And so when he did, we even put out a disclaimer if anybody had knew about it, that because it's not a tribute act. It's more of a reverent presentation of a hero. You know what I mean? So it's not, we're not doing a tribute to John Prine. We're playing John Prine songs in our own style, true to what his inspiration and his recordings. I mean, I do the finger picking like, man, that guy was a heck of a guitar player.
Yeah.
Most people don't know that. Dear Abby, dear, they'll just strum D, G, and A, and the audience goes, I love John Prine. But if you really listen to it, the guy was an incredible guitarist.
It's so subtle.
So, but he was
nothing was loud.
just a
Everything was
master
subtle.
of Travis picking. So we're doing that, and Donna does the Bonnie Raitt. John did a lot of duets with Iris DeMent and Bonnie Raitt and different Margot Price and different people. So Donna brings that to the table, and the harmonies are, Stan was a vocal major. That's what he graduated college. So the vocals are great. And it's just Moose and I, when we first got together in 1974, right before we started Telluride, is we learned John Prine songs.
Yeah.
So that's almost 50 years ago. So when I told them back in 2019, when we first started talking about this, I said, I want to do the music of John Prine, and he was still alive at the time. And they're like, oh man, yeah, we were raised on that. That's what we do. So fortunately, March 10th, 2023,
that's right,
we're going to come to fruition, and hopefully that ball rolls down the hill with lots of happy people.
I think it's going to be. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be an art piece.
Yeah, I think it'll be good.
And needless to say, there's tons of fans of John Prine. So, I think they should come pay homage. Enjoy the night.
Yeah,
reflecting on the tunes and all the memories connected to it.
Absolutely, and presented in a very reverent way by qualified artists, players.
That's right. I mean, no kidding.
So
for real.
Very excited about that. And Donna Hall, man, she is just something about the Hall family.
Yeah, soul masters.
Well, energy,
Yeah.
I mean,
you're right about that.
She light up the stage, man.
When Jimmy was here, he just I've seen a lot of people play, over the 3 years we've been in this venue, and I don't think anybody's left it all on the floor any more than he did.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude was spent. He had to be escorted back to a couch.
Yep. Do you know that Telluride was his band in 1989 and 90?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yep, and we have it all on cassette tapes.
What is that?
All
I know
live
you did a tune or
recordings.
two with him.
Huh?
You've done a tune or two or more with him.
Yeah. But yeah, we were his. Wet Willie wasn't doing any. It was just a dark time for them not to be playing as the band, and got down on a place called Margaritaville down in Gulf Shores. No association with Jimmy Buffett at the time. Of course, that pretty much ended quickly once.
Yeah.
They found out they called it Margaritaville. Funny thing about intellectual property guy.
About them trademarks, yeah.
The attorney told me one time, I said, I cannot believe these people are suing me for my own name. And he looked at me and he said, Rick, you call yourself the Beatles if you had enough money.
The truth hurts.
It doesn't matter. You have enough money, you'll give up that mark.
Drives on, man.
But we were his band, and we used to be really diligent about recording every show and making notes, and with us, the Johnny Shines. And also, but at that time, we were at the portable cassette deck, throw a cassette in, record the whole night.
Well, John, I mean, we could have so many conversations, and perhaps we'll have another one. You know, like Johnny Shines is a good, we could go down that rabbit hole. And
yeah.
I'm sure you've talked to him about his associations with Robert Johnson or whomever, and heard millions of stories from that dude. He was
a trip, man. And we ended our relationship with him when he wanted us all to wear the same matching suits. Well, I just got out of, which leisure suit are we going to wear tonight at the Ramada Inn, the powder blue or the white? That's what we wore. And then before that, I was in the Philippines, which was great because you had all your clothes made. You couldn't get them at the BX. We were in the Air Force, Clark Air Force Base. Well, all the goods came through Subic Bay, so the Navy picked through the Levi's. And by the time it got to us,
nothing left.
Seersucker was not a band wear, but we all wore red bell-bottom pants and custom-made, it was all tailor-made. So we had uniforms, red bell-bottoms with white inserts, big old bell-bottoms.
So they'd cover up your platform shoes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, one day we'll have to talk about that because that band, we did, in the Philippines, they had a American Bandstand. It was modeled after that, but it was on Filipino television called Nine Teeners.
Really?
Get around, 9 Teeners, up and down, 9 Teeners. And we thought, man, if we ever get on a 9 Teeners show. Well, sure enough, we got pretty popular.
And we got Dick Clark.
We got to be on the 9 Teeners show. But we had to take our maid with us because they couldn't pay American citizens.
Oh, so
they couldn't pay Filipino us. Maid, right? Yeah. We had she was a citizen of the country. They paid her.
Ah, sweet. Yeah.
And the only thing I could find on 9 Teeners is I found the YouTube of the theme song and their dancers. Their dancers doing the hullabaloo and the jerk and all that. It was 1968.
There was a rash of shows like that.
Hullabaloo was one of the shows, right, where the action is. But yeah.
You were like Paul Revere and the Raiders.
We thought we were, man. We really did. And see, that band played all the time. I mean, we probably played, 8-10 times a month.
Yeah.
Which was big when you're kids and you're making $7 a pop.
Yeah.
At $56, versus $4 from my dad. And he said, hey, since you're making more money, I'm not going to give you your allowance anymore. I went, what? I said, I still take the trash out and do my chores. Why don't I get my 50 cents? He goes, you're making more than that. I said, yeah, but I want the 50 cents.
I get it, man. My dad was retired Air Force, so
similar. Yeah, I want my money.
Yeah. Yeah, man. We're going to call this chapter 1.
Yeah.
Of an ongoing saga. But down below the podcast, no doubt, after Philip edits it, we'll have your links to your book, Fables and Stories. We'll have links to the show coming up here at the Song Theater March 10th for the Alabama Troubadours and whatever else you're into.
Yeah.
Which is going to be a plethora of things, no doubt, by the time we'll get us out quick.
Yeah. I love it.
Right on, man. Well,
thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for being had, brother.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you, man.
Very much. Very much fun. I love to tell stories.
We love you and respect you, dude.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Imagine, Create, Inspire, the podcast. For more information on the Shelby County Arts Council, please visit www.shelbycountyartscouncil.com.